Adam, why did we build Quest XR?
I think we talked about it in the last video. I think we were inspired by a variety of different things, but kind of one of them was the idea that we would, at least from my perspective, I always was interested in live action role playing, but I never was satisfied with what was out there. I thought it was pretty terrible. I mean, I just didn't like the idea of just swinging sticks at someone in a park or running around doing sort of like an area where the puzzles were kind of weak and things like that. I really wanted an RPG experience that was also live action, out of the house, running around a particular area. And when, as technology improved and we were sort of inspired by some other things like GameLit and the idea that, museums were lacking visitors, I thought this would be a really interesting idea to create a escape room style of experience that's not contained to a room. And then again, like you kind of we talked about last time, you brought in to focus a little bit more on RPGs, and that's when it flipped the switch for me on, okay, what I was visual envisioning could easily be done in an RPG style.
And all of these things are going to be helpful for you, the viewers, because we're going to be covering a bunch of topics today about how we want to interact with you. Things like social media and how we can get you to help us with it, using Discord as a way of shaping what we're doing, obviously signing up for the backer kit because we need your support, the co-promotional opportunities that we're hoping for, and lastly, playtesting to make this project better. Welcome back to the Quest Log. I'm your host, Zachary Hunchar, co-creator of Quest XR, and with me is Adam Lesh, the other and most important co-creator of Quest XR. If you'd like to learn more about us, check that first video that we posted on YouTube and some of the supplemental ones on Instagram and TikTok. Tell you all about us. Now, Adam, how are things coming since our last video?
Well, they're coming well. They're coming along. So where we sort of stand right now. Let's talk about that, I think. And the sort of core loop that I see for the current iteration, pre-funding iteration, is character creation and then the ability to play a few quests, a few adventures, using getting an idea of the experience that you would get when the full product is ready. So character creation is done. It's working really well as far as I can tell. I've made a lot of characters. I'm eager to get feedback from others, but the bottom line is you use the BRP rules and you create a character. The quests are single character quests. We don't have a party system built yet. That's definitely in the next iteration. But we do have a variety of quests, and we were focused on what I call play anywhere quests. So they can be played at home, they can play in your backyard, doesn't really matter. There's no particular geo-tagging that goes on with these quests because obviously we're reaching out to a very large audience and we couldn't put geo-tagged quests everywhere. So this was intended to do that. And there are a variety of different them and you can discover them in the app. What's fun about it is that there's actually quests that are part of a campaign, so you have to complete the first quest to get the next one, and that's all baked in already. The GM tools I've been building along at the same time, so I haven't been hard coding this. I've been building the tools to create the quests, the encounters, the creatures, everything that's we've been incorporating into the entire app all along the way. So I would call the GM tools in kind of an alpha mode right now. They work, but they take a little TLC to work correctly. I'm working on polishing those up and getting ready for more of a beta release. We'll actually be able to get people to start building on the app, even in advance of any funding. Obviously those people will be required to sign an NDA, things along those lines. But the most importantly, we'll be really exposing how this thing works to the first round of GMs.
Any issues popping up in playtests that people should be aware of, or?
Well, there's the occasional glitch and bug. I mean that's pretty normal. I think at a stage where we're at, and we're very eager to get people to get in, tell us what's broken, and so we can fix it. Right now it seems pretty stable. I haven't run into any issues lately. I think the biggest lack is in terms of just the content. We're trying to build out as much content as we can. Our asset library is a little thin. It does take an effort to create AR assets or puzzle assets or things along those lines. But again, it's coming along, bit by bit. And again, like I mentioned, the GM tools need some polishing. So I'm eager to get those done, and I'll start creating some how-to videos as soon as I'm comfortable with when I walk through it. It doesn't like blow up in the meantime.
What do you think is one thing about Quest XR and what's being built that the people that are following along don't know about?
It's interesting. Based on some feedback I've seen, I think we haven't gotten the message out that this is sort of a live action role play that you play using your phone, but not in the standard way that you play other RPGs. The interface for character creation for navigating the app is very comfortable and familiar, right? It's like a lot of other apps out there, and so the next phase where you literally start one up and your camera fires up and you're actually walking around and triggering things, what we call encounters, which can be anything from an NPC encounter to combat. Not getting that message out there, and I'm working on how we can make people understand that, and it's not just AR. To be clear, there's video, there's audio. The tutorial really covers a lot of different parts of how this thing is going to work and how it all ties together, and just trying to get that message out is that you really have to experience the quests before you really understand what this app is going to be.
We're increasing the content of what we're sharing on social media, but we need your help. It's a time-consuming yet cost-effective way of increasing visibility, but it's been going slow. We'll be honest; it's going a lot slower than we were expected. A lot of that is we haven't had a viral moment yet. Now, we think Quest XR sits between two groups of individuals, people that are into tabletop role-playing games and the people who are interested in the augmented reality experience. But we're not clear if either knows about the other group and how much crossover there is. So that's why we need your help. The algorithms on most of these social media networks are lumping us in with everyone else. So if you see something, if you see this video, a share or a like, comments, all of these things are really helpful for the platforms that they're on because it gets them more excited and more willing to push us to the front of the line. And it helps others who are kind of like you to find us. But also it's useful for Adam and I because every time we see real feedback, someone, not just someone shitposting, but someone who is sharing their actual thoughts and feelings on how we can make it better, it means something to us. It resonates with us. We take it to heart. For Adam, as the person on the front line doing the heavy building, when you see feedback, what does it do for you? How do you react?
Oh, I think it's great. I'm eager to get constructive criticism. I mean, it's invited, I mean, and I don't have a thin skin about this. I don't feel very precious about the build. I want to make this as broad and appealing to the community, the RPG and AR crossover community as possible. So, I mean, I think that's the Discord server, right? I mean, that is what I'm hoping to get is people to join that, start a conversation, because sometimes a comment is hard to understand, right? I mean, you don't always understand it from a single line in a comment under an Instagram post. So sometimes I'm going to need to reach out and say, so what did you mean by this? And not in a confrontational way, but in truly inviting and clarifying that feedback so that we can go in and make a fix. We're very nimble. We can move very quickly, and we have. When something's come up that seemed like we needed to fix it, make it more user-friendly, something wrong, that we didn't implement BRP quite correctly, these are things that I'm more than eager to get feedback on so that we can continue to improve this thing. And kind of what we said in some of our various places around the net is, we want to build with our community, get direction from them on what is the most important thing that we continue to build, improve, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so for you watching this at home, thank you for watching it if you've made it this far. There's more good stuff that's going to come, so hang with us. If you sign up on our backer kit, it immediately takes you to a place where you can get access to our Discord server. Adam mentioned Discord as a great way of communicating with us, and we really, really want that to happen. Like we're posting updates on what's going on. There's a poll up right now about what's the next monster you want. I'll give you a hint. I really hope someone picks the hedgehog as your enemy. A killer hedgehog, I think, would be awesome. But Adam, can you describe all of the different things that we're doing on our Discord server, and what excites you in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're trying, I mean, what you just said, right, is the idea that we are getting into a conversation, right? This is not one way or one way in either direction. We don't expect stuff to be thrown at us, and we don't expect to throw things at everybody else. We want to get into a back and forth on how to make this thing the best it can be, the most interesting. What holes can we potentially fill in, let's say, a normal tabletop session? Is there something people are looking for, people have been hoping for? I go back to this story again. I think I mentioned it in the last video, is that, when I read the book Dream Park several decades ago, I was instantly just enamored of the whole idea of being able to go out and do a live action role play that was, with real magic flying around and things like that. And while that's not the way it turned out, we really are there with AR. AR can create very similar concept to what Dream Park put together. So that's just me, right? That's my dream, but it doesn't mean it's what is good for the community. So, we're eager to get out there. I think the other fun part that both Zach and I are working on is we're creating some fiction in the game lit space that reflects how Quest XR works. So things like BRP rules. So instead of using our own made up system, we're actually trying to integrate with an existing system, and seeing things like Call of Cthulhu games pop up on Quest XR is an exciting prospect for us.
So it's a good way to interact with us, but it's also a good way to interact with fans of gaming and BRP. And by joining it, you're not just passively signing up for something and then ignoring the emails when they come in once a week or twice a week. It's a way to actually influence Adam and I. So don't wait. Join our backer kit. Join our Discord server, because right now you have a lot more power than you're ever going to have with this process. Now, as mentioned, we're on BackerKit. Signing up helps us in a lot of ways, and it's super easy. We won't batter you with endless posts. There are, once a week, maybe twice. We can't wait till we get to the day when we're doing it 2 or 3 times a week. That'll be really awesome. It's free. Did I mention it's free? It doesn't cost you anything to sign up, though there is an option where you can put a deposit, and then there's some extra special stuff that you're going to get. You'll only be able to get it if you do the pre-sign up. And it helps us to understand what kind of engagement we're getting. We're hoping to see the numbers grow, and it's causing us to constantly adjust what we're doing and how we're communicating. So, another way that you can help us figure out what's going on. So the sooner you jump in, the more influence you're going to have. This is something that I don't think we were really thinking about per se when we began the process, but we're looking for people to collaborate with. That would be promotions and content. We're not really looking for free promotion per se, but we certainly wouldn't mind. What we're really looking to do is to find ways to create overlap between the people that are out there in the world talking about this and what we're doing, because we think that if people learn about this, they're going to be very excited. What, Adam, are things that Quest XR can offer to the world that they didn't know they needed?
Well, my dream is to be to collaborate with people who already have existing IP, whether in the game lit space or in the TTRPG space or the AR space. Any of those spaces, I think, have a home on Quest. It doesn't all have to be revolving around role playing either. I mean, some of these can be things like a treasure hunt or something along those lines. So there's all kinds of interesting ways that we can tailor this to various different purposes. And so yeah, so I mean, if someone were to reach out to us, and as we reach out to them as well, is that's where I see it, is their branded content lives in our space, and people can play a branded game, a branded quest or campaign that is from the original owners. And one of the things we always talk about is who owns what, right? And so if someone came to us, or we were able to work out a collab with somebody with their own IP, they would continue to own that and control it. So if for whatever reason they wanted to take it down, they could take it down. We don't, and any monetization that happened out of it, we would take some kind of a platform fee, but not like a 50-50 share or something along those lines. So and if it was, the IP owner wanted it to be free to play, then we would respect that as well. So there's no requirement for that. If they're going to monetize on the platform, we take a small fee, but if not, then it's free, and that's basically a free promotion for that IP.
Nice. What is your secret fantasy deep down crossover with Quest XR?
Honestly, I mean, there are a couple of them. One is, since we're using BRP, I would really like to get Chaosium content on there. That isn't something that we put up, that we collaborate with them, and maybe something that's original for Quest. But honestly, one of my favorite things I do in the last few years, when I stumbled on it a few years ago, is I really do like GameLit. I would keep bringing it up, but I really love it. And there are a few books that I enjoy, like The World by Jason Cheeks and a few others, that just are so enjoyable. And I think there's some synergies there. I really do believe that we could create some fun quests that people could play that in those worlds. I mean, there's just an enormous amount of world building going on, and there's really just whatever storylines they create. I think one of the best examples is Tao Wang, right? Who did the System Apocalypse? I think I got that one right. And what's really cool to me about that one, which I don't see too often, is there are multiple series that take place around the world. There was one series that started very focused on one particular character, but now I've seen some other ones, and they're all kind of fun. He works with different authors, so it's not always him. He collaborates, and they create these different scenarios that take place in the same world. Well, that world building can be used in Quest. There's no reason it can't be. BRP is incredibly flexible. We haven't implemented superpowers yet, but we will. And so there's a time. We can also create skill trees. I mean, there's really no limit to what we can do. And I would dearly love to get some of that content on Quest, and then allow us to my dog walks out of the picture here, and then allow us to work with them in a cross promotion. So that's sort of, if I'm dreaming, that's where I want to be.
That sounds good. And maybe adapting the Dream World series in Larry Niven.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if we're gonna have any pull with Larry Niven, but yeah, for sure. I mean, Dream Park is just one of my favorite. I mean, there's been. I mean, I didn't even realize it till much later. But there's actually a series. There's actually 4 or 5 of them, I think, at this point in the series. The first one, in my humble opinion, is still just the greatest because I read it so long ago and I just fell in love with it. But they're a lot of fun, and the concepts behind them would obviously be a very neat fit with them.
All right. So, Adam, can you describe what the playtesting program actually needs? Like the kind of person and the kind of feedback. Can you describe that process?
Right. So right now it's player oriented, right? I mean, everything that anybody can do today, and they can do it right now at qxrgame.com, is they can create a character and they can play the existing quests. Some of the quests, by the way, are repeatable, so you can play them over and over again and see if there's an interesting difference. And so I'd really like to see more of that, because the more it gets played, the more we'll find bugs and fixes and things that are really wrong. I mean, right now, like for example, combat was the most complicated thing to put together. And so I haven't found one in a while, but long after I thought it was done, I kept running into a little bug here and there. And so the more other people play it without my preconceptions, the more likely we'll find that and get it to perfection. And there's still plans to make it better. Some of the visualizations and stuff I'd like to improve, but that's not overly important right now. So what we need is 2 things: players who just want to play and let them play, feedback on those things. Obviously, any bugs, suggestions, improvements, and then GMs. I'd love GMs to get involved and start thinking about the potential and how they would build. Right. A lot of the components are there, so they will find a video encounter. They will find an NPC encounter. They will find a puzzle encounter. They'll find combat in all the different quests. And so that's just pieces of the puzzle that they can then reassemble the way they want to. And so I'd love to get, okay, this didn't work for me. This worked for me. I'm missing this. This would be huge. If I couldn't create a quest without X, right? That I need that kind of feedback from the GMs to open up their imaginations. One of the things I said to you, I think from day one, was that whatever we do, there are going to be people who come on board who do much better, much more elaborate, much more interesting.
Sure.
I'm thinking, bang this thing out. I'm a technical guy, but I really want the most creative people on the planet to get involved in this thing and come up with some really, really interesting ideas, way beyond what I ever imagined. And then I will, from a technical perspective, make it happen.
Well, signing up is a great way to help us with this. Social media, Discord, and our backer kit, there are many ways that you can help us make this not just a thing that already exists and is working, but the kind of thing that we ultimately want to get to, which is interconnected, expansive, open system that allows people to make their imagination come true right in front of them. But we need your help. So once again, if you can, share this content on social media, like and leave comments. Sign up so you can get onto our Discord server and really communicate with us. Tell us what you really think doing it early. We'll give you a lot more control than you're going to have much later in this process. Remember to sign up on BackerKit. There is a way to do it where you don't have to give us $5 up front, but if you do give us $5 up front, there's some extra cool stuff that's going to come with it. If you want to co-promote with us, we're ready and willing to do so. And of course, as Adam just mentioned, we can really use a lot of help with playtesting. So, with that said, thank you for watching us today. This is the Quest Log with Zachary Hunchar and Adam Lesh. Once again, we're at Quest XR, and we really appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. I look forward to talking to you soon.
See you next time.